Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Mohinder Chand, Department of Tourism and Hotel Management, Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra. Dear friends, today we will discuss on the subject tourism and hospitality, paper, travel agency and tour operations, itinerary preparations and tour package design. Module 24, types of costs, cost sheets, FIT costing and group costing. Let us start with learning outcomes. After completing this module, students will be able to understand the types of costs, know the meaning and concept of cost sheet, understand the costing of FITs and GITs. Let us start with introductions. Costing of a tour package is not an easy task. It requires technical skills and having practical knowledge of ascertaining, calculating and determining more appropriate cost of a product. Cost is the central point in determining product price. Therefore, a tour operator do costing in a systematic and careful manner to reduce the risk of making loss. Most of the tour operators buy products, services in bulk from different service providers in special discounted rate in the off season. Despite this loss may occur due to some uncontrollable factors. Thus, a mere knowledge of total cost cannot serve the purpose of tour manager. He needs to understand each element of total cost before determining the cost of any product or service. In the previous modules, we have discussed the meaning and concept of tour cost, its components and the consideration. This model enhances your understanding about types of tour cost sheet and also discuss the costing procedure for FITs and GITs tours. Let us start with types of costs, cost sheet, FIT costing and group costing. Cost of a package tour includes the determinations of the monetary value of a tour package. The cost of package tour is explained as the total expenses are incurred to convert the places of interest along with services into an appealing package tour. A tour company incurs the cost for transacting with the principal service provider. It assembles or purchases individual components to give concrete shape to tour package. The cost is determined as per client or market's requirements or organization strategy. Tour operators work out fixed and variable cost. Let us discuss the types of cost. Tour cost depends upon types of tour package offered in the market. Generally, following are the main types of tour cost. First, fixed cost. Fixed costs remain unchanged as volume changes within the relevant range. A fixed cost per unit varies to the change in the activity, whereas fixed costs are fixed in total as activity changes. In some, fixed costs do not change and remain constant regardless of the number of participants. Then variable costs. Variable costs, it changes in direct proportion with the change in the volume within the relevant range. Variable costs vary in total as activity changes, whereas variable costs per unit stays constant when activity changes within the relevant range. On the other hand, it depends on the number of projected or proposed participants. Next type of cost, semi-variable. These expenses change in the same direction in which output changes. That is, they move up when the output increases and they come down when the output declines. What they do not change in the same proportion as the change in the level of output. Such expenses remain fixed up to a particular level. After that limit, they also vary. However, the rate of change is comparatively slow. Next, the product cost and period cost. Costs which become part of the cost of the product rather than an expenses of the period in which they are incurred are called as product costs. They are incurred in inventory values. In financial statements, such costs are treated as assets until the costs they are assigned to are sold. They become an expenses at that time. These costs may be fixed as well as variable. However, the cost which is not associated with development of a package is called period costs. They are treated as expenses of the period in which they are incurred. They may also be fixed or variable. Such costs include general administrative cost, salesman salary and commission, depreciation on office building, etc. Next, direct and indirect costing. The expenses on material and labor, economically and easily traceable to a product, service or job, are considered or regarded as direct costs. In the process of manufacturing or production of a tour package, different ingredients are purchased, employees are involved, and the wages are paid to them. Certain expenses are also incurred directly. All these take an active and direct part in the process of developing a tour package, hence are called direct costs. On the other hand, the expenses incurred on those items which are not directly chargeable to the tour package are known as indirect expenses. For example, in production, like salary of the timekeeper, maybe others persons, the certain expenses for the running administrations incurred. All these cannot be easily allocatable to the tour package are hence called indirect cost. Then relevant and irrelevant cost. Relevant costs are those costs which vary according to managerial decisions, while irrelevant costs are unaffected by managerial decisions. For example, in a replacement decision, unrecoverable cost of old machinery or equipments is an irrelevant cost. In making managerial decisions, such irrelevant costs are ignored. Differential cost. Differences in cost between a particular course of actions and another is known as differential cost. If a decision will result in increased cost, the difference cost will be termed as incremental cost. In the cost will be increased, the differential cost will be referred to as a decremental cost. Then sunk cost, a sunk cost that will not be changed by a managerial decision. These are the costs previously incurred. They may be variable or fixed, both. For example, a decision as to whether or not to continue a research project should not be affected by costs already incurred on the project. The decision is to be based on the amount of additional costs that is expected in the future. So, reason is simple. After a cost has been incurred, it cannot be changed by any decision to be made at the present time or in the future. An individual can get only having made a purchase what after he has made the purchase, he cannot avoid the cost of any action that he may take. A cost has been incurred and cannot be avoided. Hence, it is irrelevant to decision making in business. The unrecoverable or depreciated book value of old plants and machinery equipments, the important example of such type of cost. The decision related to replacement to continue or close any business activities are to be taken without making any reference to sunk cost. They are only historical cost, hence irrelevant for decision making. Then out-of-pocket cost. An out-of-pocket cost signifies the relevant cash expenditures which will be involved in a particular situation. Management decisions are directly affected by such expenditure connected with a certain decision which will change according to the nature of decision. Such costs are very relevant for decision making. Then opportunity cost. By opportunity cost, we mean the expected income from foregone opportunities. In choosing between alternatives, management always tries to select the best alternative. What in doing so, he has to give up the returns that could have derived from the rejected alternatives or opportunities. Hence, the sacrifice of a return of benefit from a rejected alternative is known as opportunity cost of the alternative accepted project. For example, the opportunity cost of investment in business for a businessman is the foregone interest on capital which he would have received from bank. As these costs represent only the cost of past alternatives, they are not entered in accounting records. What they are very significant for decision making. In capital busting decision, opportunity cost is included in the total cost, and then profitability of any capital expenditure project is discussed. Then shutdown cost. These are the costs which continue to occur even if there is temporary closure or shutdown of the production or production activities. The example of such costs are the costs of maintenance of the plant, salary of chowkidar, or maybe the salary of employees, etc. These are the relevant to the decision making in temporary shutdown. Then abandoning cost. These are the costs which are incurred in particular project. These are include the cost of removing the plant from the workshop and so on. Such costs, as they very much relevant to the process of decision making. Such costs are generally included in replacement costs for this purpose. Next, cost sheet. The meaning and importance of cost sheet. Cost sheet is a statement which shows various components of total cost of a package tour. It classifies and analyzes the components of cost of a tour package of the previous periods. Data is given in the cost sheet for comparative study. It is a statement which shows per pax cost in addition to total cost. Selling price is ascertained with the help of cost sheet. The details of total costs presented in the form of statement is termed as cost sheet. Let us discuss the importance of cost sheet. The importance of cost sheet is as follows. Helpful to cost ascertain. The main objective of the cost sheet is to ascertain the cost of a tour package. Cost sheet helps in ascertainment of the cost for the purpose of determining the cost after they are incurred. It also helps in ascertaining the actual cost or estimated cost of a package tour. Then fixation of selling price. To fix the selling price of a package tour, it is essential to prepare the cost sheet. It helps in fixing the selling price of a package tour by providing detailed information of the cost. Then helpful in cost control. For controlling the cost of a product, it is necessary for every travel agency and tour operator company to prepare a cost sheet. Estimated cost sheet helps in the control of tour ingredient costs, labor costs, overhead costs at every point of tour package. Helpful in managerial decisions. It helps in taking the important decisions by the management, such as whether to produce or buy a component, what price of package tour service are to be quoted in the tender, whether to retain or replace in existing equipments, supplier, etc. Moreover, it helps the management to cater international or domestic tourism market. Let us discuss the FIT costing. Foreign independent travel, also known as fully inclusive tour. It is a pre-arranged, prepaid tour for individuals, generally 1 to 10 people who travel unescorted, sometimes confused for fully independent travel, which refers to an individual or at time of couple who wishes to travel completely independent of any pre-arranged schedule. A fully inclusive tour, FIT, and sometimes known as fully independent tour, is a pre-arranged and prepaid for 1 to 10 people traveling without an escort or tour guide. Most typically, an airlines originated the booking. The clients usually travel for public transportation, or FIT generally includes accommodation, transportation, sightseeing. The traveler is issued a voucher for each component of the package. Taxes and baggage handling are usually the responsibility of the individual travelers. Then, group inclusive tour costing. A group traveling together, the group may be escorted or be provided complimentary by the step-on guide. Generally includes transportation, accommodation, sightseeing, and some others meals. Like a group inclusive tour is a prepared tour for a specific minimum number of people traveling as a unit. Most group tours are comprised of 10 to 35 people. GITs are usually travel escorted or chartered transportation and generally include accommodation, all baggage handling, entrance fees, taxes, and some meals. Costing procedure for a package tour. It is important that manager figure out the production cost of a tour package before it goes into the production stage. According to industry practices, establishing product costs helps in determining the selling price and break-even point of a tour package. This system of determining costs also helps companies set the profit margin percentage on tour package sold to the market. Thus, costing refers to a system of calculating the amount of money it takes to produce tour package or operate business. Generally, costs include variable like costs of labor, costs of tour ingredients, costs of distribution and selling, expenses and administrative cost. When a tour operator makes a tour programs, he seeks for quotation from handling agency for the service included as a part of program. He adds hotel rates, then he finally costs the program. On the other hand, many times the handling agency seek prior information about the cost of programs and then they sign the contracts with the tour operators. Almost all agencies are using a set format, the cost sheet, to make costing simple, in which each service or package is included. Cost sheet is always prepared in duplicate, which one is in the for the record and the other goes for the accounts for the information and later on to release the payments to the supplier against service order vouchers. The tourist is extremely sensitive to both the absolute level of price and the changes in the price. He is also respect to the change, his decision pricing of package is going to play the important role in the total business of tour operating. It should be profitable for the agency firm on the one hand, and on the other hand it should be competitive in the tourism industry. Costs of tour operators involves following elements: payments to acquire core components of tour package, then second, administrative cost, third, promotional cost, then direct costs, then indirect costs, then fixed costs and variable costs. Thus, costing include the tariff of hotels, accommodation, transportation, handling agency commission, cost of own farmhouse, staff house, maintenance and cost of advertising, publicity. The first step is to prepare the confidential tariff. Preparation of confidential cost sheet is not an easy task. The ground operator makes a confidential tariff in which he quotes his rates for transfer from airport to railway, railway to airport and hotel to airport, vice versa, sightseeing, excursion, hotel for all the sector which he wants to cover. A confidential tariff is a type of booklet which is exclusively for the use of the staff for handling agency, tour operators and travel agents who contracts the handling agency as a ground operator to their traveler. Confidential tariff also provides detailed description of the services, information about the peak or the lean season, rates, exchange rate, fairs, festival, cancellation, charges, surcharges and other important information needed for an exclusive or an agency to sell the destination to a traveler. The price of tariff vary from agent to agent. One cannot compare the quality of services by price referred. The quoted price vary due to several reasons. For example, what are included in the service, use of AC transportation, non-AC coach, etc. Inclusion of or exclusion of taxes, tips, escort guides. So, at the first, tour operator should fix his objective about the service. Then he can work out confidential tariff in following ways. He should ask the excursion agent or the handling agency to tell about the services it offers and the code net rates against each of the services in his area. The total will show the net expenses he will incur on the services. On this price, a handling agency wants some percentage rate of return. This is normally 3 to 5% more than the minimum lending rate. This prepared cost is the price which is handling agency charged to the tour operator or to an individual using the agency as a ground operator. This is the rate mentioned in the confidential tariff against a service. Those handling agencies who business with foreigners convert this money into foreign currency, since there is always fluctuation in exchange rate. So, they prepare the rate valid from time to time, maybe generally 1st October to next year's 31st September, An agency is not allowed to add markup or any other expenses what to maintain price fixed by the principals for all those services on which an agency is paid commission for its selling offer. Preparation of costs, hotel confidential tariff. For hotel rates, the tariff, the tour operator may follow the following guidelines. He should collect the rates from the hotels in each city as resort with different meals plans. Ask service charges, if any, different taxes and surcharges. If required, then convert the rate into foreign currency. For each city resort, the rate for all hotels should be calculated and compiled then in following manner. Single room, double room rates, then European plans, American plans, modified American plans, continental plans. Now let us discuss the costing a tour itinerary. When a tour operator makes a tour program, he seeks for quotation from handling agency for the services included as a part of program. He adds hotel rates, then he finally costs the program. On the other hand, many times the handling agency seek prior information about the cost of programs and then they sign the contracts with tour operators. Almost all agencies are using a set format, the cost sheet, to make costing simple, in which each service or the package is included. Cost sheet is always prepared in duplicate, which one is in the for the record and other is goes for the accounts for other information, maybe for the release of the payment and to the supplier against service order voucher. The cost sheet of a demand tour operators, it has different components like the name of the FITs or groups, year, name of the tour operator, traveling tour agency, then the number of packages, period, tour name, number, rates of exchange, then what type of facilities you are offering, car, minimum 3 packs person can travel, coach when 15 to 30 packs are traveling together, mini coaches 4 to 15 packs. Packs are always mentioned as 10, 15, not exact figure. Then the rate is divided by 10 to know the per packs expenditure. Initial travel from and to airport is transferred. Rest excursions are kept under sightseeing. If journey is over 5 hours, then the client should be given rest. Single room supplements should be calculated, must be quoted separately. At the end of the cost sheet, rail, airfares, extra are mentioned. Packs 15s or more traveling together is known as group. Let us discuss the summary. The tour cost sheet is set up to serve the company's needs for cost determination, cost ascertainment, cost measurement and cost control. In general, costing is preferred to actual costing in determining the packs cost. In normal costing, actual prime costs are assigned to per packs. What overheads is applied based on the predetermined rates. Job orders costing is used for both manufacturing and service firms that produce unique or heterogeneous products. Cost is accounted for by the individual job using a subsidiary accounts called the job order cost sheet. Now, after above discussion, you will be able to apply various types of costs to a tour package and able to describe and prepare cost sheet of FITs and GITs. Most the tour operators prepare tour cost sheet on the basis of their historical experience. The cost sheet is added to identify the different type of components of total cost of each unit. It is prepared with the intention to give complete information to the tour operator vis-a-vis to the tour participants. It is used for not only to fixation of pricing but also for managerial decision. Tour costing and pricing manager use the cost sheet for determination of exact cost. Moreover, the tour cost sheet of FITs giving detailed information about the various ingredients consumed or used by the different tour participant. It also helps to the ground operator to provide them complete summary about the different type of services they are supposed to offer to the tour participant. Moreover, it helps them to control the cost of each and every ingredients. Further, related with the cost sheet of group tour package, it is very difficult to find out the cost of each and every components. However, when we are operating the group tour package, the total cost can be easily ascertained by preparing the tour cost sheet. Once the tour cost sheet is prepared, the tour manager must be clear that what should be the cost of a per pax and what should be the cost of each and every ingredients. It should be clarified for managerial decision, or maybe sometime he is receiving a different type of quotation to cater the international as well as domestic tourism in the market. Therefore, he needs to prepare different type of quotation for quoting the prices. Generally, tour operators, when accepting the international assignments or international tour participants, he decided on the managerial cost basis, because on the basis of the tour cost we can easily identify the managerial cost of the tour package, so that only the product cost to be assigned to a particular tour package. The margin of profit in this case may be the higher, and the remaining expenses, the remaining cost of the tour participants or tour package may be recovered from the existing or domestic tour package. The cost sheet is also helpful for determination of marketing strategy, reaching to the clients, conducting various types of project, and also making more and more decision to launch new product or to remain in the existing product. It also helps the tour operators to decide whether to produce the product within the company under his own price tag, or to just purchase the different ingredients of tour package and then assemble these and redirect to the market. This helps the tour operators to take different type of managerial as well as administrative decision. Thank you very much for watching EPG Pathshala.